In the present video, current electricity part 4, we will be discussing variation of resistance and resistivity with temperature, temperature coefficient of resistance and resistivity, variation of resistivity with temperature, the temperature coefficient of resistivity, combination of resistances, EMF, potential across a cell and internal resistance of a cell, relation between EMF and the potential drop. We begin with variation of resistance with temperature. Before we go into study the details of what we want to discuss, let me tell you one thing that the videos here are an attempt to bring home the concepts of physics to you. Rigorous mathematics and problems based on these concepts you have to practice from the books to be abreast with the subject and get a thorough knowledge of the subject. That you can for that you can depend on the books. Here, suppose R naught denotes the resistance of a conductor at 0 degrees Celsius and RT the corresponding value of resistance at T degrees Celsius. Experimental measurements show that increase in resistance, if it is a conductor, the resistance will increase. Increase in resistance is proportional to original resistance, that is resistance at 0 degrees Celsius. The increase is also proportional to rise in temperature. So we get RT minus R0 equal to alpha R0 into T, where alpha is a constant called temperature coefficient of resistance and its value by transposition comes out to be RT minus R0 over R0 into T. Increase in resistance per unit resistance per degree Celsius or per Kelvin rise in temperature. It is defined as the increase in resistance per unit resistance per Kelvin or per degree Celsius rise in temperature of the conductor. Alternately, if R1 and R2 are values of resistance at T1 degree Celsius and T2 degree Celsius, the temperature coefficient of resistance over the temperature range T1 degree Celsius to T2 degree Celsius is defined by this expression: change in resistance per unit original resistance over rise in temperature. SI unit, as mentioned, SI unit will be per Kelvin or per degree Celsius, because numerator the unit is ohm, here the unit is ohm, which cancels out and you are left with 1 over temperature, that is per degree Celsius or per Kelvin as the case may be. Remember, metals have a positive value of alpha, that is the resistance of a metallic conductor increases with rise in temperature. The semiconductors, that is, for example, group 4 elements of the periodic table, or group 14 as we call them now, silicon, germanium, etc. Semiconductors have negative value of alpha, the temperature coefficient of resistance. Hence, the resistance of a semiconductor decreases with the rise in temperature. Some alloys like manganese, constantan, and one more Eureka, they have low value of alpha. For such materials, the resistance does not change appreciably with temperature. Hence, these alloys are used to make standard resistances which we use in the lab. Because when we use resistances in lab, we have to use them in winter, in summer at different temperatures. So the value should not show wide variation. That is why we prefer the alloys to metals to make standard resistances. Another important point which we want to discuss in current electricity is electromotive force of a cell, the potential drop or voltage across a cell, and its internal resistance. We'll also talk about the relation between E, V and the internal resistance. There are two circuits shown. The first circuit, you can see key is open, so obviously no current will flow here. Whereas in second circuit, the cell is in use and we are using it to pass a current I through an external resistance R as is shown. The definition of electromotive force of a cell or EMF of a cell is the potential difference across the terminals of a cell in an open circuit, that is when no current is being drawn from it. It is denoted by capital E and is measured in volts because it is potential difference. Remember, EMF is the maximum potential difference which a cell is capable of providing. In the second diagram, the cell is in use, means current is being passed through it. Remember and have a look at the complete circuit. Current starts from here and goes to the negative terminal. Through the cell, it goes from negative to the positive. That is what completes the cycle. Positive to negative in the external circuit and negative to positive through the cell. So the cell has to drive current through external resistance as well as the resistance offered by the electrolyte. That's important. Now in the second diagram, the cell is in use and the current is being drawn from the cell. It is the difference of potential across terminals of a cell in use, that is in figure B, is called potential difference. It is generally less than EMF. However, the potential drop across a cell exceeds the EMF of the cell when we charge the cell, when we are charging the cell, when we have connected it to the external source to store the electric energy as chemical energy in the cell. Internal resistance, it is the resistance offered by the electrolyte in the cell. You know, every cell has an electrolyte, and because it changes chemical energy to electrical energy, the resistance offered by the solution that we have in the cell is the internal resistance. We generally denote it by small r. Now let's see a relation between EMF and the potential difference. The diagram is again shown for your reference. Let's take a cell of EMF E, internal resistance small r, used to drive a current I through an external resistance R. Remember, the cell has to pass current not only through the external resistance R but also through the internal resistance small r offered by the cell. As a result, if you apply Ohm's law, you get EMF equal to current into total resistance. The external resistance and the internal resistance, they are joined in series. So you get IR plus I into small r. I into capital R is voltage across the external resistance and I into small r is voltage across the internal resistance of the cell. So clearly, you know, we have V plus IR equal to E. So V is less than E or E is greater than V for a cell in use. A part of E, the EMF of the cell, is lost in internal resistance, I into small r. This is loss of potential across the internal resistance. We call them I into small r is called lost volts. So rearranging, you can get expression for the internal resistance as E minus V over I or E minus V over V by R, because I V over V by R we have applied Ohm's law here. So you get E minus V over V into capital R, the external resistance, as the value of the internal resistance. We will be using this expression later when we talk about the potentiometer. Combination of resistances. From your knowledge in class 10, you know that the resistances can be combined either in series or in parallel Or sometimes we have circuits which use both series as well as parallel combination of resistances. You have to derive the expression for the resistance of the series combination and the effective resistance of parallel combination. This I'm leaving as an exercise to you because it's too simple and you already have done it and studied it in class 10. However, a few features of series and parallel combination of resistances we will be talking here. The resistances are connected in series if they are joined end to end so that there is only one path for flow of current. So whatever current passes through R1, same will pass through R2 and R3 and R4 and R5 and so on. So in series combination, same current passes through all the resistances. The effective resistance of series combination of a number of resistances is the sum of the individual resistances. Total resistance R is R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4 and so on. The resistance increases when the resistances are combined in series. There is only one path for flow of current, so same current flows through each of the resistances combined in series. As stated here, the potential difference across each resistance is proportional to the resistance. So if you want to find out the potential difference across R1, it will be I into R1. Across R2 will be I into R2. Across R3 will be I into R3 and so on. The total potential difference applied across the combination is divided across the resistances R1, R2, R3 and so on. This is a diagram which shows three resistances R1, R2 and R3 in parallel. In a parallel combination, one end of each of the resistances is combined to a common point and the other end to another common point. Now here we have different paths for flow of current. The paths are through R1, through R2, through R3. So the effective resistance R of the parallel combination of resistances is given by this expression 1 over R equal to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3 plus so on if you have larger number of resistances connected in parallel. That is the reciprocal of the effective resistance of parallel combination is the sum of reciprocals of the individual resistances. The resistance decreases in parallel combination means the total resistance will be less than R1, the total resistance will be less than R2, the total resistance will be less than R3. That is less than either of the individual resistances connected in the circuit. There are different branches or paths for flow of current. Current through each resistance depends on value of the resistance. Each of the three resistances gets the same potential difference here. So smaller resistance will get larger current. The larger resistance will allow lesser current. You may subscribe our YouTube channel CBSE 042 for more videos and notifications. Any feedback can be sent to ikg54@yahoo.co.in. We have a blog for more topics which you can visit and find more topics. Wish you very happy learning. Thanks a lot for watching the video.